Welcome to the Small Scape. Today we are talking plants and how do you pick them? How do you decide what plants you want to do if you've completed your aquascape or if you're thinking of an aquascape? Do you choose carpeting plants, tall skinny plants, bushy plants, simple plants like the one in this aquascape here? A lot of plants, very few plants. So many decisions to make. So let's get started. There's a number of points that I want to bring up because it's taken a long time for me to choose the plants that I'm using on my 22-gallon long that's coming up in the lounge. And the plants are on order, I finally decided. And there were a number of decisions that I had to just kind of make and think about. So here are the points. Number one is there anything that you want to block or not block in your aquarium? Is there any kind of filtration? Is there something part of the tank that you don't want to see? You want to choose plants that will help block that. So maybe something tall and skinny that will fill in, maybe like Vallisneria, something like this, the taller grasses, giant hair grass, something like that might block, or large anubias. Is there something that you do not want to block? Do you have beautiful rock, different piece of driftwood where you just don't want to block it? Keep that in mind. You might want to choose plants that go nowhere near it, that stay very low to the ground, maybe like a boose or a carpeting plant. Number two, is there something that you want to highlight? Usually in an aquascape, I would suggest you pick one. Do you want to highlight the rock, the plants, or the driftwood? So if you kind of squint your eyes, if you kind of look at it real fast and then close your eyes, what did you see? What's the main focus of the tank? Do you want it to be the rock? Do you have beautiful rocks picked out, maybe like elephant skin stone? Or do you want the plants to be the stunner? So pick a lot of plants. Pick a lot of the same plants, or maybe a huge variety of plants. Or do you want to have the driftwood be the main star? Then sometimes even with large driftwood tanks, there's not a lot of plants, or even sometimes no plants whatsoever. Or you want to plant them in the back. If you do plant them in the back, they're going to need to be tall to kind of make that curtain along the back of the tank. In this tank here, we chose plants that were going to stay very low within the driftwood, and then planted some taller plants in the back to kind of give it a kind of a background. But we didn't want to detract from the driftwood. Number three, keep in mind the height of the actual aquascape. So this scape, there was a lot of driftwood that gave the tank, the scape, height. So we didn't need to acquire any height from the plants. Keep in mind where your fish are going to be swimming. If your fish are going to be staying low to the ground, if you have a bunch of cory cats along the bottom, or maybe shell dwellers, then you don't have to be as concerned with getting height from your aquascape or your plants. If you have a lot of fish that do stay along the bottom, give them lots of places to swim in between. And maybe, some of the microswords I really like, they stay small. Boose or Anubias nana petite gives a lot of interest towards the bottom of the tank. But then if you want to give something that gets a lot of height, again, Vallisneria gets a lot of height, or the giant hair grass, but I don't use it because it does require higher light than what I have. Or if you want to just plant a few, then go with something like crypts that will multiply and kind of fill in, or swords if you're talking a bigger tank. Number four, maintenance. What kind of maintenance are you planning to put in with these plants? Stem plants frequently grow very quickly, especially if you're going to be giving it a lot of nutrients, a lot of higher light, and you will need to maintain them. You're going to need to trim them, cut them back a little bit, because they will populate very quickly. Hornwort, if you have it floating in there, that can multiply very quickly, along with our friend duckweed, of course. Just think about how fast do you want these plants to grow, and are you willing to maintain them and do additional work? Number five, light. How high are you going to be putting the light? Do you have very high light? Do you just have a kit tank that has very low light? Then keep that in mind and pick plants that will do well with that light. And then also keep in mind, where are you placing the light? Do you have one? Do you have two? Do they have to be mounted on the sides so it doesn't obstruct view or something behind the tank? Keep that in mind, because that's where you're going to want to plant your plants. Next point would be what you have or you want to try something new? What are you going to use? Do you want to use plants that you already have? Obviously, you'll have to take a look. Are you going to be kind of foraging around from another tank to kind of save some money? Do you have some favorites that you want to use? Or do you want to try something new? If you do try something new, just do your research. See what different kind of needs it will have than something maybe that you've kept in the past. I highly recommend trying something new because you may not know your new favorite plant that you've never had before. There's lots of plants that I never would have tried, and I did, and I was very happy. Like a lot of the lilies are really cool. Never would have tried them. Next point is what kind of shape are you looking for? If you you can even sketch out. I've done this before. I have taken a picture of the hardscape and then sketched out with a pencil, maybe on your phone app, just like you're in your photo app. You can edit it and put use your little pencil tool and doodle in the plants to see, do you like really linear plants like this Vallisneria that just grows straight up and down? It can grow pretty fast. It'll spread around your tank, so you may have to move it around a little bit or cut it back and remove some of the ones that start popping up in the front. But maybe the shape is something different. Maybe you want to use it for something specific. You can use a plant for something. Maybe you want some sort of bold texture or to highlight a collection. I've had a lot of Anubias Nana Petite that I wanted to use and kind of tell a story that it kind of grew up the tree trunk. I kind of call these tree trunks when they're in an aquarium scape like this. And I also use a larger Anubias as kind of cover to provide cover for the fish at the top of the tank. But this is to give like a lot of interest with the plants. And then you want something very fine textured, something like this that stays very, very small, close to the ground, and doesn't detract from the beautiful rockwork. And the last couple points would be, do you want the planting, once you put the plants in, do you want it done? It looks totally complete, like it's been growing there for a long time. Then you're going to want mature plants. You're going to want larger plants and more plants. So that's going to be more expensive at the outset. Of course, they may grow in where you can take them and move them to other tanks. Like with the 22 long, it's very important that the tank looks like nearly done, well grown in from the start. I don't want it to look like, well, check back with me, in a year or so, and then it'll grow in. So I was looking at getting a lot of plants and kind of making sure that they filled in certain areas like I wanted them to. If you are willing to watch your plants grow in, which I think it can be really fun to get little baby plants, tissue culture plants. I'm a big fan of them, and I think it's really fun. It's like being a gardener, an underwater gardener. You can plant little tiny plants and watch them grow. Super fun. And then the last point is, do you want or need more of these plants? Say you have one tank, but you have others coming, or you're just getting into aquatic plants and you really want more plants, and you maybe don't have a lot of money, or you don't want to spend a whole lot on the plants. Keep that in mind, because there are some plants that will grow very, very quickly and will provide you with more plants faster. Say Anubias, it's a very slow grower. It's really not going to give you a whole lot of plants, that you can divide up into your other aquariums in any big hurry whatsoever. But Vallisneria, you can use it at some point and spread it through other tanks. Hornwort grows super fast. You'll have more than you know what to do with in no time flat. But yeah, these are just some points to keep in mind when you too have to choose some plants, just like I did. And hopefully the next time I see you, I will have an update and some maybe a complete tank to show you. So I hope you I wish you all the luck planting your tank, and see you next week.